Captain's log. Day 8. The hangover has finally subsided. It's been 4 days. Captain's log. About 3 minutes after the last transmission. It's fucking steep. Here's a 2-week trip to Melbourne and Cairns, Australia. I met up with old friends, saw a part of the Great Barrier Reef, downtown Melbourne, amazing waterfalls, and a cool little gold miners town. Enjoy! Look at this piece of shit! Exactly sure what we wanted to do when we got to Melbourne, so a fellow passenger suggested we check out the Eureka Tower. It's the tallest point in Melbourne, standing around 1,000 feet tall. I thought it'd be nice to look around and see what's out there. It was $25 to go to the top, including their attraction, The Edge, which is kind of like a little glass box with a glass floor and you can look down. I thought it'd be neat, but turns out it sucked. And they wouldn't let me bring my camera inside, so it sucked even more. Even though the tower was a bust, we saw a neat looking World War I memorial and made our way over through the city. Melbourne reminded me of just about any city I've ever visited. Most closely was San Diego. Laid back people, nice weather, and expensive beers. The Shrine of Remembrance is one of the largest war memorials in Australia. It was built in a classical style similar to the Parthenon in Athens. Even if you don't support veterans or war, you could definitely appreciate the architecture of this place. I didn't record anything inside because it was a really quiet place and I felt that it would be disruptive. Well, this place was the downfall of the night, the beginning of the end. Casinos in Australia are just like casinos in Vegas. They take your money, and I'm drunk. This isn't what we ordered, but we drank it anyway, like real men. The night ended with me getting the drunkest I've ever been. And oh boy, I needed it, because tomorrow we were heading to the zoo. Hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Enjoy.
Alright, thank you. Now there was nothing wrong with the Melbourne Zoo, but if you've seen one zoo, you've seen many zoos. And if you're looking for kangaroos, you're better off looking on the side of the road, because there's roadkill everywhere.
I can eat food finally.
Yes. We're on Campbell's Hump in Mount
Macedon. Final stretch.
It was only like 10 minutes. It sucks. That's pretty sweet. Hang on. The Mount Macedon Memorial Cross, another World War I memorial with a nice view. Up next, I'm flying northeast to Cairns, Australia to check out a little sliver of the Barrier Reef. One thing I thought was pretty cool about Cairns was having 3 different types of terrain all within about a 2-hour drive from each other. On the coast, on the water, you get coastal terrain. On the mountain, you have a tropical rainforest, and over the mountain, you get plains. It has something to do with the volcanic activity from the past. It only took a couple minutes to get used to driving on the left side of the road. However, I couldn't figure out the damn blinkers the whole trip. Apparently the windshield wipers are swapped as well, so I went to go turn my blinker on, I turned the windshield wipers on instead, so... I'm headed about 90 miles off the coast of northeast Australia to see about a single acre of 130,000 square mile reef. The boat ride costs about $130 and I'd be spending about 4 hours in the water. Now, to be totally honest, the fish weren't all that impressive. You can see them in an exotic fish store near you. But seeing a 40-foot tall coral reef and some of the giant clams was absolutely insane. Pick up your trash. I'm headed up the mountain to check out the Waterfalls circuit, starting with Mila Mila. There's about 20 notable waterfalls to see in the area, but I had to pick just 3 because I wanted to hang out at some. The area's been experiencing a drought, and I was told the waterfalls wouldn't be as impressive as they usually are, but I figured I'd check it out anyway. Mila Mila was nice, but wasn't nearly as secluded as Nandroya Falls. I thought it'd be a good idea to do the 3-mile round trip walk barefoot, but oh boy was I mistaken. They took this beautiful nature trail and put down some rocks on the path. At about 15 stories tall, I was truly taken back by this place. I spent a few hours here and I really just did nothing. I just admired everything around me. Here's a little fun fact for you. I only have one camera, so I had to walk back and forth 3 times to get each one of these angles. I felt pretty stupid doing it at the time, but now looking back, you probably didn't even notice until I said something. Next up is Barren Falls. Barren Falls was definitely the biggest waterfall I've seen on the trip, but it wasn't the best. Because it was so big, I couldn't get that close without risking my life. And since I was traveling alone, it just seemed like a really bad idea. After about 10 minutes, I headed off to the village of Kawanda.
Done this in the workshop at home, made it like that, and then we sew it up. And what we're sewing with, this is kangaroo leather.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So we sew it up with that, and as you can see, it's all made by Mike and Pauline. And that's Pauline over there, which means I must be Mike.
Hello, Mike.
My last night in Cairns, I wanted to catch a time-lapse of the sunset on the beach, but it rained. So instead, I got this time-lapse of traffic going by in Cairns CBD. Woohoo! Back to Melbourne I go to hit up an old gold mining post, Sovereign Hill.
What were the miners looking for down here?
Gold.
No.
Quartz.
Quartz, exactly, Mom. They were looking for big quartz reefs. The reason they were looking for the quartz is because the average concentration of gold in quartz for the Ballarat region is 10 grams per tonne. Much easier to just find the quartz, bring it all to the surface, and then get the gold from there. What we have here is a very small quartz reef. As you can see, it's running on a downwards angle. Quartz reefs in Victoria always run on a downwards angle from north to south.
Spots here were already found about 3 years ago. These are our most recent ones. So they're specimens where it's got the quartz and the gold all through it. If it's just gold by itself, it's called a nugget. like those ones over there. But
Interesting.
They've got the quartz. As
So-
far as we know, the quartz forms first, and then the gold comes up underwater action and adheres to any crevices it can find.
Well, that about wraps things up. Had a great time over these 2 weeks, and if you made it through the entire video, I'm thoroughly impressed. And if you kind of skipped around and made it to the end, well, good for you. Not everybody has time for stupid videos. Alright, bye-bye.